Hi there, and welcome back. I've been having problems with my door latch, and although it works fine right now, it's only a patch job. This started on a trip to Gillette, Wyoming a few weeks ago. It started getting hard to pull, so I pulled it apart and adjusted it, and it seemed to be working right. And then the next day or two, I noticed that the handle here down at the bottom wasn't fitting square with the rest, and I took it apart, and after a lot of looking, I found that there was a pin inside that had worked its way loose, and when it had done that, had distorted the plastic around it. So this 18-year-old door latch is on limited time. Trimark, who makes a lot of latches and handles for motorhomes, no longer makes this model, and they've replaced it with this one, which is supposed to fit in there and only look different cosmetically around the edges. So we're going to try and fix this. Now, I have had this door apart about 3 different times already, and so I'm pretty familiar with it, but it was intimidating when I started. So let me try and show you how we do this. All right, the first step is we've got to get the interior face of the door off. In order to do that, we need to pull all of these things loose. Now, if any of you have a Newmar, you might notice that this is not the original handle. The previous owner put this on here. Now, I choose not to use power tools and run the risk of stripping things out. Fortunately, it looks like I've got a lot of practice doing this. All right, when you do the deadbolt on this one, the other side tends to want to fall out. All right, so now the scary part. This piece here is held on to the same type of fasteners that hold on a lot of automotive stuff. You may not be able to see me in the angle, but I'm going to get back here with a nice big wide plastic chisel and look for these fasteners and come up next to them and just twist, pop them loose. So I may be off camera. So it's kind of interesting pulling this door. Here's a quality control sheet that was with the unit when it was being built, so I left it there. This blue tape wasn't there originally, but it seemed to be a good way to hold this plate, which is part of the deadbolt mechanism. This area here, this is the lock we're going to pull out. So we've got linkages coming up here to the rest of the mechanism. There's the cable that goes up to the top piece, which latches the door and holds it in the open position, as well as here's the interior door handle sits here and the lock for it. So I would recommend taking a few minutes to get familiar with how this works so that you can know it's back together correctly. And of course, as I always recommend, take a picture of it so that you can figure out how it goes back together. Okay, so to get this door latch off, we've got this backing plate here which actually holds it against the door, and that would come off of this bolt here. And then we've got 2 pieces of linkage that are attached to it. Now this top one, and I apologize you can't see it, it's got a little keeper that comes off with it. Put it back on there so that you don't lose it. The next one is just going to fall out of there when we take this off. And yep, I could use a 7/16. socket, but in the amount of time it takes me to dig all that out versus doing it this way, I'll do it this way. All right, I'm going to pull the keeper off this top piece and get it off here. So let's compare these two before they go in. Now, I haven't taken the back plate off of here, but we can see that the levers and everything, other than being different colors, look about the same. Sure looks like it should fit. Well, if I take that off, it will. And the disassembly continues. So this arm right here is what's interfering. So I'm going to try and pull it off, and hopefully I can get it back together. All right, that's loosened it up. Okay, we've got the latch in place. Now we got to put it back together. You holding it?
Yep.
Okay, guess that's tight. All right, pop this spring loose. And it goes from here. Okay, we're getting there. I had this long piece of linkage. There we go. Okay, now let's put it in place. Okay, before I get it tight, make sure the gasket's in the proper place. It is. Okay, that looks good. Still sitting right there. Okay, so let's see if this works. So after thorough testing, we got this thing replaced. Now I'll try and show you what was wrong with the original. Here's the paddle handle here, and it moves on a pin. It's pressed in here and another one like that here. This pin I found had walked out far enough that was allowing this hinge to just swing free. With pliers I squeezed it back into place, which kept working, but kind of a ticking time bomb that at some point it's no longer going to work. I'll be showing on screen a photo of one of these latches that stopped working, and my friend, who shall remain nameless, who had to break into his own motorhome and then was forced using pliers to open and close his door until he could get a replacement latch. Now we put it back together. I've done this a few times, like I said, and I found that it was easiest to put these little fasteners in the bottom holes first. And watch that. All right, watch that you get that little point in first, or else you're going to break one of these things, which I have done. Start working on this farthest side over here, because you won't be able to see back here if you do this other side first. Some of these are not going to want to be where you want them. So you have to reach in with a screwdriver or pliers and get them properly positioned. Looks good. Let's make sure it's still working. deadbolt is the trickiest part to get back together. Okay, deadbolt is operating. Alright, quick test. Looks like that's working, that's working. That's working. Well, gang, I think we've got success here. Thanks for watching.